Hello guys, how are you?
I'm Hardeep Singh. Welcome back to your own YouTube channel. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test, and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys participate in everyday listening and reading practice test to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon for the upcoming notifications. Don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, IELTS updates and recent exams.
Part 1.
You will hear a woman phoning about her membership of a carpool, a type of car-sharing organisation. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Hello, your carpool. How can I help?
Oh, hello. Look, I used one of the cars earlier, and I want to complain. I'm not one to make a fuss usually, but this isn't the first time there's been a problem. I'm getting fed up with it.
I'm sorry to hear that. Can I take your membership number first?
Yes, it's 520016.
520016. Is that Julie speaking?
Yes, Julie Gold.
Hi, Julie. Now, let me just check your booking. Your complaint's about the most recent booking, is it?
Well, yes, this complaint is. But like I say, it's not the first.
OK. So that was the Fiat. Registration number YPT723S in City Street this morning at 10:30?
Yes, that's it. But no, I think it was the car in Baker Road.
My records say City Street. That's the grey Fiat.
Oh, yes, Baker Road was yesterday.
And that booking was fine?
Well, yes, that one was.
Good. So what exactly was the problem today, then?
Now you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 5 to 10.
OK, I went to pick the car up and it wasn't in the parking bay. I was in quite a hurry and I have to say it was very stressful. Of course, I thought somebody else still had the car out. Anyway, I was about to phone when I saw the car on the other side of the street about 100 metres down. Can't you make it clear to users that they have to park the cars back in the bays?
Well, yes, we do. If I had to guess, I'd say that the previous user left it there because the bay was occupied. We'll phone to check and find out, but that's the most likely explanation.
But people aren't supposed to be occupying the parking bays, are they?
Well, no, but they do. They usually think it's okay to park for a few minutes.
Well, in that case, shouldn't members wait until somebody comes back to get their vehicle? I mean, in that situation, I always hoot and keep on hooting to alert the car owner to the fact I'm there and that I expect them to move. It usually takes only a few minutes. I wish people would show a little more patience.
As I say, I'll phone and...
There are other things I want to discuss. When I did eventually get to the car, I was shocked at how filthy it was, both inside and out. The wheels and the bottom of the vehicle were covered in mud. Inside, the carpets were muddy too, and the back seat covered in dog hair. It's pretty obvious that the last user had driven out to the country to take his dogs out walking. Can't there be some rules about what people can and can't use the cars for?
I hear what you're saying, Julie. I think this is a fair point, and I'm very sorry. I certainly will call the previous user to take this up.
And make sure that the cars are given a decent valeting every so often. Right, one more thing. Once I'd dusted off the seat and found the keys, I expected them to be left under a seat or in the door compartment, I finally started up the engine. I was dismayed to see how low the fuel gauge was. This has been the case before, and it's really annoying. I thought the membership regulations state quite clearly that it's the driver's responsibility to fill up when the gauge goes below the quarter full mark. Am I right?
Yes, that is what we say.
So how come I had to sort that out before I could get on with my journey?
Look, I think all things considered, we'll compensate you for your experience today. How does that sound, Julie?
Are you going to scrap the payment for today's booking?
Well, I could do that, but now the booking's on the system, it's complicated. I'd rather offer you complimentary hours. Today's booking was for 4 hours, so we'll say you have 4 hours of uncharged usage taken off your next bill.
But what if my next booking is for less than 4 hours?
Don't worry. The booking will not be charged, and the remaining amount will automatically go forward to the booking after that. All you have to do is key free hours into the comments option when you make the booking online.
OK. I guess I should say thank you, but I'm still very cross.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 2.
You will hear a woman talking about health and safety when using a computer.
First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Hello everyone and welcome to the second session on health and safety. And today we're focusing on health and safety when using a computer. Now, can you all gather round this workstation here? That's great, thanks. OK now, let's look at some equipment that is specifically designed for safe computer use. Firstly, take a look at this item here. Yes, the sloped slab in front of the keyboard. Does anyone know what it is? That's right, it's a wrist rest. And it does a lot more than take up room on your desk, I can tell you. Well, what does it do exactly? In actual fact, it's specifically designed to support your wrist when you're typing or when you're using a computer mouse. Now, the one I'm holding in my hand is made of foam rubber. Come on now, have a feel. You know you want to. Now, it's very flexible, isn't it? The padding is firm, but it also gives way when you press it, just like this. Here's another type, by the way. This one is filled with gel. Now, like the foam rubber type, it's got a firm surface, but when you press it like this, it gives way with a little spring. However, not all wrist rests are flexible like that. Some are made from hard plastic. That doesn't sound like a comfortable support for your wrist, does it? So, not to be recommended. OK, so we know what kind of material we're looking for in a wrist rest. But what else do we have to think about before we choose one? Now, look again at the foam rubber wrist rest here. You can see that the slope of the wrist rest and the height and the width too match the front edge of the keyboard here. And there are no sharp edges. Look, it's really nice and smooth. Now, we know it's a busy time for you all at the moment. You're busy with assignments in between the hours you're spending browsing the net and going on social networking sites. Well, just think about how hard your wrist has to work. So, using a wrist rest like this one can really help in a number of ways. First of all, it helps you keep your wrist straight when you're using your computer. I'm demonstrating this now. As you can see, my wrist is neutral and straight rather than bent up and down. See what I mean? Now, it can also provide padding for your hands. It works in much the same way as a cushion, so it makes your desk much more comfortable. Now, please note, I did say cushion rather than pillow. We don't want you students to be too comfortable. Another advantage of a wrist rest is that it stops your hands from dropping off the edge of the keyboard. A wrist rest can also relieve tension and soreness in your neck and shoulders. And how does it do that exactly? Well, it removes the weight of your arm from your shoulders and neck altogether. So there are a lot of benefits, aren't there? However, most people never learn how to use a wrist rest correctly. In fact, leaning your wrists on a wrist rest for long periods can put a lot of pressure on the undersides of your wrists, just here. Now you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen to and answer questions 18 to 20. So, to make the most of your wrist rest, it's really important to follow a few basic tips. First of all, make sure you place your wrist rest approximately 1.5 inches away from your keyboard, like this. And never ever place your wrists directly on your wrist rest. Instead, place the palm or ball of your hand on the rest. And another thing, don't use the wrist rest all the time, particularly when you're typing. Instead, your hands should be on the wrist rests during break periods, so between your typing sessions. This will avoid you putting strain on your wrists and fingers. Now, does anyone have any questions before we move on to computer glasses?
That is the end of part 2.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 3.
You will listen to a talk between a tutor and 2 students, Jenny and Jack. 3 of them are speaking about the survey which Jenny and Jack did as part of their exam assessment. Look at questions 21 to 23. Listen to the interview conversation and answer questions 21 to 23.
Jenny and Jack, I asked you to look at the case study for Mack's car industry as part of your exam assessment. I personally feel it's interesting as they are facing a lot of problems. The car industry was once at boom, but now it's hard for them to survive. Let's summarise some of the problems the industry is facing.
Yeah. The first thing I noticed, despite of regular advertisement, their sales are dropping. There are many causes, as mentioned in the case study. First is increased competition due to many new companies with different models. Second is the strike of the workers for 3 months, and another is running with less budget and resources. So they are really in trouble.
Yes, I think it's true. And Jack, you visited the company personally, didn't you? What did the company authorities say about the downfall?
Yes, I met the managers, directors and the CEO. They said they invested the resources at the wrong time, which was a total wastage of money, time and resources. They had to pay back large interest rates. Many sincere employees left the company, so they are not able to launch the new product on time. Now look at questions 24 to 30. As the talk continues, answer question 24 to 30.
Now, let's discuss what a company should do in this situation. OK, Jenny, what do you say?
Well, in my opinion, they can sell out their previous name and start with a new name. And this time they should be more cautious about the mistake they did, or in simple words, learn from previous failures.
You mean to say making a new company with a new image?
Exactly, yes. New things, new people, new name and new image.
Well, a sudden problem can't have a sudden solution. You should look into the running management approach. So, the analysis must be in that direction. What's your opinion, Jack?
Yes, I think it's interesting. I also read the case study and visited it personally. Frankly speaking, I found the study interesting. It is a big company and they are capable of sorting out their problems efficiently.
OK. Now, let's stop the discussion here, and I want both of you to visit some branded car companies and prepare a report with suggestions for Mack's car industry to overcome their present problem.
We've already completed that survey, and here are some suggestions.
OK, that's great. Tell me some of them. Jenny, first you tell.
I personally feel they should change their advertising strategies to endorse their product.
I'm not sure. I think only advertisement can do much for a big company. Unless they invest money to attract the right level of investment, they can't move ahead. Secondly, the skilled workers are on the backbone of a company, and to keep them intact, finance is required. I had a talk with the marketing manager of the company. He said that the marketing team is very strong, but they are overloaded with money problems and other responsibilities. I even went to the production department. Most of the machines are outdated, their efficiency is low and not even producing quality products, so they must introduce new machinery.
Well, yes, I personally agree with your survey findings. The company must think realistically to compete with the competitors in the market, and they must work with innovation and novelty to sell their brand and the products in the market.
That is the end of part 3.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turns to part 4.
You will hear a lecture given by a spiritual leader related to the use of the will. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Every expression of goodwill depends for its potency on its correspondence with the divine will, so far as we can understand it. The inflow and stimulation of will, contacted on the mental plane of consciousness, will inevitably empower both those of selfish will and those of goodwill. The urgent need becomes obvious for men and women of goodwill to focus their efforts on using the increased inflow of will energy for positive, dynamic thinking. With this energy, we can synthesize the many facets of planetary crisis, think in global terms, and work for the good of the whole. How can this be accomplished? We know that subjective channeling and radiator work in meditation have a constructive and healing effect because goodwill is an expression of the energy of love. Love is the universal characteristic and quality of divine life in our solar system and on this planet. Using the principle that energy follows thought, the mind can invoke and direct much energy, including goodwill, wherever needed. When a group of people think the same thoughts in unison, thought power increases geometrically. We use a horizontal system of relationships to family, nation and humanity to distribute the energy we contact on the spiritual or vertical levels of awareness. It is from these spiritual sources that the inflow of will energy will enter human consciousness. This energy can inspire thinking in line with humanity's highest held planetary good and provide the power to implement inclusive solutions. This energy has 7 aspects indicating 7 lines of manifestation. These include the will to initiate, unify, evolve, harmonize, act, cause, and express. These aspects of the will outline the progressive descent of ideas from formless sources to their anchored expression in the world. The will to initiate is the source of a clearly held purpose, which we contact through an understanding of divine purpose and the plan for humanity. Through meditative thought, we can grasp new ideas and increase our vision. This inspires initiative in action. Our will to unify results from the initiative that we see the need to end cleavages between men and nations. The energy of goodwill as an expression of love or wisdom can be found. A true experience and expression of right human relations will inevitably lead to human unity. The will to evolve can be lifted from aspiration for individual progress to the will to aid the evolution of all humanity. Realizing our total unity with all life, we know individual evolution is inevitably linked to the growth of every member of the human family. We save ourselves by serving and loving others. The will to harmonize or relate utilizes a fundamental method of evolution. Through harmonizing and relating all parts of the vast planetary, whole conditions can be established, offering the maximum opportunity for the evolution of every member of the human family and of the subhuman kingdoms. Harmonization of the conflicts now conditioning human affairs can now be achieved through sacrifice of material interests, resulting in sharing of physical resources and a growth of spiritual values. The will to act on behalf of all humanity, to assess our actions according to their benefit to the entire human family, further aligns our activities with higher purpose. It is through humanity and the dedicated action of men and women of goodwill that the purpose and plans of divine will can be manifested. The will to cause consciously aligned with higher purpose can set in motion those events supporting the plan, for every action we take causes ripples of effects. The will to express is the final anchoring of energies in outer daily living. This means living a life expressing to our utmost divine purpose and the plan of evolution. Every facet of life is involved, from our overall purpose in life to daily thoughts, words and actions. The fire of the will to good is available for right usage, but power to express it lies in its group use. As we see ourselves part of a worldwide group of men and women of goodwill, our capacity to give right expression to the will is enhanced. Through holding the group of planetary servers in the circle of divine love, we can think through into human consciousness the needed ideas of sharing cooperation, brotherhood and unity, which can inspire humanity to move towards new evolutionary goals. Through our intensified will to good, we serve as a powerful stimulus to the expression of goodwill throughout the world.
That is the end of part 4.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So guys, don't forget like, subscribe and share my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. IELTS updates and recent exams. For more updates related to recent IELTS exam writing test topics, listening, reading, practice test and speaking, you got guesswork. Please guys, participate in everyday new IELTS listening and reading practice tests to achieve your desired band score in your actual IELTS exam. For more IELTS material, visit my official website www.ieltsupdatesandrecentexams.com. The link is given below in the description. If you need PDF files of latest IELTS material, then please join my Telegram channel. So guys, please write your score below the comment section. Again, thanks for listening. God bless you all guys. Stay tuned, stay safe.